The coming retirement of the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court could be seen by some as an opportunity for the Prime Minister to put his stamp on the institution, but experts say Canada's High Court is almost impossible to steer in any given direction. When the Supreme Court of Canada ruled in February 2015 that denying a doctor-assisted death was unconstitutional, 7 of the justices on the bench were appointees of former Prime Minister Stephen Harper. When the same court struck down Canada's prostitution laws prohibiting brothels, living on the avails of prostitution and communicating in public with clients, 5 of the Supreme Court justices were Harper appointees. What more would Trudeau want out of a court? Asked Howard Anglin, Harper's former deputy chief of staff whose job was to advise the Prime Minister on whom to elevate to Canada's top court. I don't think Trudeau needs to look to change the court to have the sort of court he would want. Part of the challenge in attempting to stack the Supreme Court, Anglin said, is that convention in Canada dictates 2 of the justices have to be from the West, 1 has to be from Atlantic Canada, and there have to be 3 each from Ontario and Quebec. That means the pool of qualified candidates for each new position on the Supreme Court is drawn from a smaller group of regional candidates. Once the qualified candidates are narrowed down, it becomes harder to choose someone who leans politically in one direction. A reason for that, he says, is because Canadian judges are not as political as they are in the US. I don't think the function of the Supreme Court in Canada lends itself in the same way that it does in the US. Where judges are obviously selected differently depending on whether the Democrats or Republicans are in office, former Supreme Court of Canada Justice John Major told CBC News. Major said that in his experience justices have remained largely non-political and therefore it's almost impossible for any one Prime Minister to put their stamp on the institution. Unless the philosophy of the court changes, I don't think Trudeau can leave a mark on it, Major added. Prime Minister Justin Trudeau has 2 immediate challenges. One is replacing Beverley McLachlin as the Chief Justice. Historically, the role of Chief Justice has been selected from among the remaining sitting justices, and that position almost always rotates between a justice from Quebec and the rest of Canada. The one exception to that conventional practice is when Pierre Trudeau appointed Manitoba's Brian Dickson in 1984 to succeed Ontario's Bora Laskin as Chief Justice. Justin Trudeau could decide to go that route and pick a Chief Justice that is not from Quebec, but as Anglin notes, when Trudeau flirted with the idea of not appointing the last Supreme Court justice from Atlantic Canada, he faced widespread backlash and ended up appointing Malcolm Rowe from NL. I think he would do well to avoid that and indicate right away that he would follow that precedent, said Anglin. Appointing a Chief Justice is the most important appointment a Prime Minister makes, said Anne McClellan, a former federal Liberal Justice Minister under Prime Minister Jean C. H. Artyan.